Good afternoon, friends. Today we are in the bottom pasture because this herd has had the most new babies this week. We have had several. And then also Horns that had her calf last week that we were concerned if the calf was going to be able to nurse or not. She is doing fine. I will take you over to her in just a minute. Everybody seems to be doing well with the exception of number 54 cow. We have given her 3 rounds of antibiotics that we have got from the vet, and she still is having a snotty nose and is not feeling well. So I'm going to consult the vet and see what he recommends that we do next. So we'll move over to another group here. This is a heifer. This cow has her first calf here, and it's a boy. And they seem to be doing just fine. As you can see, she's got plenty of milk there for him. So we're going to move over to another batch of cattle. Here we have Horns and her new calf, and as you can see, the baby is getting nursing on 3 of the quarters, so she's doing just fine. And we are so glad of this for 2 reasons. Number 1, because Horns is a good mama and she has plenty of milk to feed her calf, and she will do a good job. And number 2, because that means that we don't have to feed it. So that's always a plus. So the cattle in this pasture are kind of scattered out today because they're grazing. They're finding some grass. And then they also have a bale of hay up there that was put out for them. So some of them are getting some hay up there. And then also I put out a little bit of feed here for them. They're a pretty good ways from the corral today. So I thought that I would just feed them on some dry areas of ground, what that I can find anyway. And here comes one of the newer mothers. She's left her calf behind, but she's looking for some feed as well. So it's been a nice week weather-wise, although we did have quite a bit of rain and storms Friday night, but there was not any damage, thankfully. My prayers are with those that are in Mississippi and other states that were hit by tornadoes and other damaging weather, and especially for those that had loss of life. So we have calves up in the weaning pen that hopefully next week we will be able to give their second dose of vaccines and then move them to the heifers to the heifer pasture and the bulls to the bull pasture. And then, as you can see from this calf standing by Horns and this one right here, we have several that we need to wean from this pasture, and we do need to get that done. Number 1, so the mothers can have some time to rest and recover, and number 2, because when the grass gets real good down here, the cattle are not as interested in the feed, and they will not come in as well to the corral for us to be able to catch them. So Jeremy is working on a plan. There is a fenced off field with ryegrass in it, and he wants to take some panels and go from that field over to the corral, which is real close. We do have a hard time catching everybody because somebody is always stays out, but at least if we can catch the majority of them, then we can do that. So we need to wean some calves, and I don't know if we will have time to deworm and vaccinate our others as well. We also need to catch some cows. We have some older cows that we need to sell, and those that have some problems that need to move on to a different home. So we've got to check our records on that. And Mr. Special's over there. I put him out a little bit of feed. He always is glad to see his feed. And these calves that are here by the Polaris, they are, well, that one's licking the chute that the feed comes down, so they're interested in that. So today's lesson, I printed out a lesson this morning, and it was on Palm Sunday, and I thought, now that's not quite right. I mean, I think that's next Sunday. So sure enough, it was. So I looked here at another one, and this is about the peaceable kingdom. Jesus brings peace. So this is from Isaiah, the 11th chapter, the 6th verse. And the scripture that goes with this is, in the day of the wolf, in that day, the wolf and the lamb will live together. The leopard will lie down with the baby goat. The calf and the yearling will be safe with the lion, and a little child will lead them all. So it's a picture, they're talking about a picture called the peaceable kingdom, and that's when that all of these animals get along, even when some of them are naturally predators. Like you would not naturally see a lion and a lamb and a baby goat and a wolf, because some of those animals would like to eat the others. So you would not normally see those different kinds of animals together. So the picture they're talking about was painted by Edward Hicks. Do you know where he got the idea for this painting? He got the idea from the Bible, chapter 11, verse 16. The scripture that we just read. So who do you think the little child is that will lead these enemies into the peaceable kingdom? That's right, the prophet Isaiah is predicting the coming of Jesus. So even though this is normally an Advent message, I think that peace is a message that is good at any time. We're looking at a wonderful forecast next week for weather, and I've got a few things, some more gardening that I would like to do. Got some potatoes planted already, and I've got my tomatoes and a few peppers started inside the house, and I got a new green stalk vertical planter. It's my first one. We will see how well that goes. I've got strawberry plants planted in it, and we have a bed out in the garden with blackberry plants in it, and several of them had died, so I bought a couple of replacement plants, and they came quite a bit earlier, so I did put them in soil and pots in the house. So I need to put them out. I hope I can get that done this afternoon, but I also have some cooking to do for next week's meals for me and my family. So I need to get that done. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed the message from the pasture. And this cow is certainly looking for some more feed. So I'll drop her some feed here in just a minute so she can have a few bites. And next week we can look forward to talking about Palm Sunday and Jesus' triumphant entry into the city on the back of a donkey. So I hope you'll do something nice for someone so that they might see Jesus in you. Thank you.